Your move, your move.
What's up guys, it's Yugioh here and welcome to another amazing video on the channel. So for today we have a updated branded dual avatar deck profile. This was requested a while ago when I uploaded my Eldritch dual avatar video, and I don't think many people are going to see this video, and to be honest, it doesn't really matter because it's a deck that I really like. As you know from the channel, dual avatar I think it's a deck with a lot of untapped potential. We just need Konami to wave the support stick at it, and I think it can actually be an okay deck going forward. It does struggle a lot to Nibiru, but thankfully Nibiru right now isn't being played that much because a lot of decks in the meta can just play through it or play around it. So that is what we are going to be doing to our advantage, praying that we don't see Nibirus coming flying towards us. If you do enjoy this type of content, make sure you do smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. What do you think of dual avatars? Do you think this version is the best version of dual avatars? There are quite a few. There is the Law of the Normal build, which I think is very, very trolly and hilarious. There's, of course, the Eldritch version, which I have shown on the channel. And there is, of course, this branded version that I am now showing. So please do let me know in the comment section, what do you think is the best variant? And smash the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Or if you've seen one of my previous videos, I think you owe me that subscribe because Yugioh is amazing and you want to be part of this. Trust me, you do. So now, let's stop with the rambling and let's get on to the deck profile. So starting off with the main deck, it is of course 40 cards. We have triple of the dual avatar fists. Yugioh looks a bit like Goku. That's my Dragon Ball reference for this video done. But he is very good. He's a warrior, meaning that reinforcement of the army obviously is extra consistency for our deck. What does he do, you ask? Because I don't think many of you are aware of dual avatars. They have been around for many, many years now, except no one really plays them, and it's a shame. So you can target one dual avatar monster you control. That includes himself. You destroy it, and if you do, add one dual avatar spell from the deck to your hand. So you may be thinking, you know, this better be a pretty good spell, and let me tell you, it is incredible. One of the most unique spells I think I have seen in a fusion card. It is really, really cool. It also has a secondary effect that if a face-up dual avatar fusion monster you control that was fusion summoned using an effect monster as material is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect while this card is in the graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. So it has recursion as well. So it is a very, very strong piece for the deck. The dual avatars is a very, very consistent deck with a low power ceiling. So I've combined it with the branded, which has a very high power ceiling, but not as consistent to see the results. And this is what I've got. So triple of the dual avatar fists, Yugioh, and double of the dual avatar feet, Kokoku. Now, Kokoku isn't as good as Yugioh because it doesn't search the spell, but if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one dual avatar trap from your deck to your hand. We do play a target. We play the one because the traps aren't the best, so we just play the best trap, but that effect does come up sometimes. Its other effect is during your opponent's turn, if a face-up dual avatar monster you control, except himself, is destroyed by battle or card effect, and that includes your own, you can special summon this card from your hand, then apply this effect, destroy one dual avatar monster you control, and special summon one dual avatar fusion monster from your extra deck. So if you have one in your hand, it can act as like a pseudo hand trap in a way, punishing your opponent for breaking your board, being able to special summon himself, and then summoning another fusion monster from your extra deck, which is pretty nice, but 3 and 2 I think is a very, very good ratio. Now for the power spell of the deck, we have triple of the dual avatar invitation. Now this card is bonkers. What does it do? Well, you discard one card, and that's not cost, and if you do, special summon as many dual avatar spirit tokens as possible. Warrior, light, level 2, 0 attack and 0 defense. Also, for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters. So that is why this deck synergizes very well. Branded, of course, branded fusion locking you into fusion monsters as well, this being a fusion spell, because, let me get to the good effect, after this effect resolves, after you summon these tokens, you can apply this effect up to twice, guys. Fusion summon one dual avatar fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material. Now that is insane, guys, because you're going to summon yourself 4 to 5 tokens, and then you're just going to immediately use the tokens for 2 fusion summons, which is pretty nice. And I think this card has insane potential. It's only ever had the one print, guys, from Phantom Rage, and it is still like £2. If dual avatars ever become good, This card is going to skyrocket. It's had one print from many, many years ago, never been reprinted, and it's the heart and soul of the deck. For the other spell cards, we have the Perfect Sync, a Un. This is the field spell. It is a very, very good field spell, let me tell you that. So when the card is activated, you can add a dual avatar monster from your deck to your hand, so instant consistency boost. And if you control a dual avatar effect monster, you can special summon one dual avatar spirit token to the field. Also, you can special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except fusion monsters. So this works very, very well with your fists, because you can summon fists, give yourself a token, destroy the token, search for the spell, and now you're left with an effect monster on the field for those juicy bonus effects from your fusion monsters. So a very, very insane card, very, very good for consistency. For the other spells, we play one dual avatar defeating evil, which I think as a super rare would be one of the best looking cards in the game because the artwork is sick. What does this do? Well, it's a quick play, so it's very versatile. You only really search this if you already have access to the invitation. And you can target a dual avatar monster you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. Then, if you destroyed a dual avatar fusion monster, you can apply a bonus effect of drawing one card or banish one card from your opponent's graveyard. So, yes, you go 2 for 1, which isn't great because you're using 2 cards to get rid of your opponents. But if you do get rid of a fusion monster, you are going to get that 2 for 2 in terms of you are going to draw a card or you're going to non-targeting banish one card from your opponent's grave, which can be very, very clutch sometimes as well. So, very cool card. Make sure you do pop those fusions to gain the most value from it. And for the trap, we play the Dual Avatar Ascendance. Now, very, very cool, unique trap as well. It's essentially a rank up or rank down card, which is very, very interesting. So you can target a dual avatar monster you control, destroy it, and if you do, special summon one dual avatar monster from your deck or extra deck whose original level is 1 higher or 1 lower than the monster that had on the field. Hint, hint, between your main deck and your extra deck, you have access to all the levels between 3 to 8, I believe. So you can go 3, there's a 4, there's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 7, there's an 8. So you have access to a wide range of monsters. And it has a second effect of during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard. I hate that, Konami. You didn't have to put that there. This card was perfectly fine without that. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one dual avatar monster in your graveyard, and add it to your hand. So again, more recursion. If you got a fusion monster that you want to put back into your extra deck, a dual avatar one, you can banish it, target it, and put it back in the extra deck. It's a very neat card. You only play the one because, yes, while it is good, you need to already have setup, and the other traps just aren't that on it for me, to be honest with you, in this type of build. So that is it for the dual avatar cards. Let's go on to the consistency pieces. Triple fusion deployment. This allows us to instantly special summon our dual avatar monsters directly from the deck, because the fusion dual avatar monsters do name feet and fists in the text. Also, we can special summon Fallen of Albaz if need be, if we want to break some boards. Obviously, we're fusion locked, but that's okay because we're going to be fusion locked like 4 or 5 times in this deck. We have the 1 terraforming for extra consistency and the 1 rotor for even more consistency. So I think you're starting to see how this deck is very, very consistent, at least the dual avatar side. You're always going to be able to find a way to get to that amazing spell and then push from there. For the supporting engines, I have the Bestial engine, triple the Bestial Rebellion. This card is incredible and allows us to get our Bestials in rotation. So the Bestial Rebellion, I play 3 of it because I think it's very, very important to search for your Bestial Sauronier, because your Sauronier actually combos very well with your dual avatar Invitation. Invitation obviously discarding a card for effect, being able to trigger your Bestial Sauronier to dump any branded or Bestial card from the deck to the graveyard. So insane. And obviously the Bestial Rebellion has the effect of being able to bring itself back and placing the branded spells, the branded continuous spells from your deck to your hand. So really, really nice. Speaking of Sauronier, we play triple Sauronier because it's a very, very good discard target off your Invitation, and it's also a DD Crow as well. So we play the Bestials because they are pseudo DD Crows. We play around 6 of them, so that's 6 hand traps, if you want to count it like that, and also because they have very cool extra effects. Sauronier being that if it is sent to the graveyard, we're going to be able to send 1 Bestial monster or branded spell trap from your deck to the graveyard. So very, very cool and very, very important Bestial in this version of the deck. We play 2 of the Bestial Druisworm. because, again, a DD Crow. And also, if this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you target a special summon monster opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. Very, very nice. We play the 1 Bestial Magnemute because it is limited, and it's a DD Crow, as all of the Bestials are, apart from Rebellion. But also, when it is summoned, you can use the effect to add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to the hand. So you can search for more Bestials or grab your Bestials back from the grave. And for the spicy tech, I play the 1 Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentine Sky Slasher. Why did I play the Gizmek Orochi? This was the second Dual Avatar trap, but upon testing, you're drawing that too much, and I'd rather see the Gizmek Orochi. It's an amazing discard target. You can send it with Branded Fusion, and it's going to be able to come back on a quick effect every single turn, and also be able to pop your opponent's monsters too. So I thought that was very useful versatility, and I'm playing the 1 Gizmek Orochi. I play the 1 Branded Regained with the 1 Branded Beast. Branded Regained is probably one of the best spell cards in the game once you realize just how good it is. Anytime a light or dark monster is banished, you can target it, put it into the owner's bottom of the deck, draw a card, amazing draw power, and every time your opponent normal special summons a monster, you can target a bestial monster in your graveyard, special summon it. So really, really cool and amazing recursion. We play the 1 Branded Beast. Again, once per turn during the main phase, if you control a bestial monster, you tribute a dragon monster, target 1 card your opponent controls, and destroy it, which is, again, more interruption. Something that the dual avatars do struggle with on their own is having consistent, reliable, useful, being the important term, disruption. Also, during the end phase, you can target 1 branded continuous spell trap in your graveyard and place it face up on your field. So this is part of the combo with the Sorene and Rebellion. If you have the Sorene, you can dump Regain, special summon Rebellion, place the Beast, and then what you can do from there is in the end phase, your Beast will place the Regained, and now you have both in rotation, being able to effectively gain advantage and control the board state. We also have the triple Branded Fusion because this is a insane card and we are fusion locked like 4 or 5 times, so why not play the best fusion lock card, which is the Branded Fusion, which allows us to just use materials from the deck because why not, because Konami said so. And we have the 1 Fallen of Albaz, Pseudo Brick. We can also special summon it with, I forgot its name now, what is it called? We can special summon it with the Fusion Deployment and break opponent's boards if need be as well. It's also an engine requirement, so we can't take it out. For the power spells, we play triple of the Forbidden Drip because this card is very, very good this format, and we can combo it a lot with cards like Invitation, Fusion Deployment, stuff like that. We're going to gain advantage by just sending them to the grave and disrupting with, of course, triple of the Dark Ruler No More. Again, we don't play a lot of hand traps. We play 6 DD Crows to be exact. We got to have ways of breaking the board, or if not, negating the opponent's board and being able to play. So that is the main deck. It is 40 cards. Let's now move on to the extra deck. So let's move on quickly to the extra deck. We have the 1 Dual Avatar Empowered Yugioh. This card, I really want to like this card. It's not great, I'm going to be honest with you. It takes fists and 2 Dual Avatar monsters. It's okay during the battle phase, but it doesn't really have a lot of protection. It doesn't really advance your board state. It doesn't do anything during your opponent's turn, which is the annoying thing. So what does it do? Well, if this card battles, it locks your opponent out being able to activate card effects till the end of the damage step. If this card attacks, after damage calc, you can non-targeting return 1 monster your opponent controls to the hand, which is neat. Okay, you can out stuff like Dragoon and things like that that can't be targeted. And when your opponent activates a spell or trap that specifically targets this card, I don't know why they did that. It could have just been any of your dual avatars. While you control 2 or more fusion monsters, you can negate the activation. So if it had that targeting protection for all of the dual avatars, it would be a lot better. It only has it for itself, the greedy guy. Moving on, for the next one, we have the double dual avatar empowered Mitsu Jaku. This takes feet and 2 dual avatar monsters. It is infinitely better than the first one. What does it do? Well, the first time each dual avatar fusion monster you control would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed, which makes the board actually quite sticky because they have a decent amount of attack and defense. Once per turn, during your main phase, you can return all spells and traps your opponent controls to the hand, so it's like a giant Trunade. That effect is very, very useful if your opponent doesn't know what your deck does, which, let's face it, they're not going to know. And then when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's field, while you control 2 or more fusion monsters, quick effect, you can destroy that monster. So it's like a pseudo Ghost Ogre for monsters on the field as well. So it is good. Dual avatars sort of really lack good disruption. This is pretty much as good as it gets, sadly. And this is why we need to have the supporting engines. We have double of the dual avatar armored Yugioh. Please let me know in the comments if I'm pronouncing these right. I really am trying. And if this card is special summoned, you can target one attack position monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Also, this card can attack directly for the rest of the turn, which is pretty nice considering it just takes 2 generic dual avatar monsters, including the tokens. It doesn't need to use an effect monster for that effect, which is pretty nice. You can only use this effect once per turn, and also while you control a dual avatar fusion monster that use an effect monster as its material, dual avatar fusion monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. So that's not really worth the extra effort, but usually you're going to make him with a card that did use an effect monster for its good second effect, and you're just going to have that passive attack and defense boost, which is nice to have. We have the Armored Yugioh, which again is infinitely better than the Yugioh. The blue ones, they're all light, but the blue ones seem to the theme is they just seem to be a lot better than the red ones, which is kind of sad. The more defensive cards are better than the offensive cards, which kind of sucks. So again, generic 2 dual avatar monsters. To make him, if a dual avatar fusion monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can destroy a different dual avatar monster you control instead. So if they are going to out your big guy, you can out himself instead, which is pretty nice. And then during the main phase, if you control a dual avatar fusion monster that was fusion summoned using an effect monster as a material, quick effect, target one face-up monster, special summon from the extra deck. That is not great. I don't know why Konami did that. It should have just been a special summon monster. You can negate its effects until the end of the turn. So it's okay. It could be better. That's just the theme for dual avatar. We have the new fusion card. We have dual avatar manifested Aeun, and again 2 dual avatar monsters. However, this card is useless unless you make it with the Matsujaku and the Kongyo. If you make it with just 2 generic guys, like 2 tokens, it has no effect on a 0/0, which is frustrating. So it gains the appropriate effects based on the monsters used. If you used the dual avatar Kongyo, it's going to be able to give all your dual avatar monsters 3000 attack during damage calc. And if you use the Mitsujaku, you're going to have a quick effect banish during your opponent's turn. So target one card on the field, banish it, which is okay. I really wish that didn't target. I think for the effort of using one of your better fusions to make this card, if the targeting is just not good, the banish is good, but the targeting not so much. If this fusion summon card is destroyed, again, counts your own, you can special summon a Fists and Feet directly from the deck. Also, they cannot be destroyed by battle card effects this turn, so that's okay, because it will trigger some of your effects to search and give you potential follow-up. For the branded stuff, we have, of course, the 1 Mirror Jade. The quick effect banish is insane and makes the branded engine a very viable target to a very viable addition to this deck, because as you can see, the dual avatar monsters are lacking in terms of disruption. We have the 1 Albion. This card is extremely useful. I think we all know what these cards do, but if you don't know, when it's fusion summoned, you can fusion summon again using monsters from your graveyard, field, or hand, which is useful. And if sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you can set a branded spell trap directly from the deck, which is pretty cool. We also have the 1 Lubellion. Again, on summon, it's going to be able to discard a card and fusion summon again using monsters from the face-up banished field or graveyard, which is pretty nice. And you're going to want to do both, so you can leave a dragon on the field, a high-level dragon for your Lubellion to come back. If you don't feel like making the Mirror Jade, we have the Draco's Tapalia target, which again is just a negate every single turn on a quick effect, which is pretty nice. And for non-fusion monsters, because we can't just play 15 extra deck fusion, so we just get wrecked by D-Barrier, we have the 1 Wallow, which takes 2 level 6s, so 2 Bestials. It's actually a pretty good card, because monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each card in your opponent's graveyard, which is pretty cool. And then on a quick effect, you can target 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, detach 1 or 2 materials, then apply the appropriate effects. If you detach 1, you can return it to the deck. If 2, you can either reborn if it's a monster and face up attack or defense, or if it's a spell and trap, you can set it to your field. So pretty cool card. Comboing it with the Zeus, obviously we're going to go to the battle phase and we're going to attack. Then we can slap on a Zeus in main phase 2 for more disruption. And then to wrap it up, we have a Chaos Angel, because the dual avatars are light level 4s and the Bestials are dark level 6s, meaning we can make extremely powerful, full effect Chaos Angels, which are very sticky, very difficult to out, and obviously give us a banish when it is summoned. So pretty cool. That wraps up the dual avatar deck. I hope you guys really did enjoy this take of dual avatars. Yes, I know the deck isn't great, but I feel like in this form, at least it has the Bestials, it has the branded engines to support, and a lot of people don't know what the deck does. And you know what? That's a massive advantage, and I don't think the deck is completely useless. just not the best. So if you do enjoy this type of content, again, as I said in the beginning, subscribe, let me know in the comments what you thought. I'll see you all in the next video.